Do you ever wonder what really goes on in the mind of law enforcement? Do you see all the social media and can't help but want to know what they're really thinking? Welcome to the Thin Blue Line Briefing Room. For this weekly podcast, I have my father joining me to tell his stories, his experience, and his 30 plus years of experience out in law enforcement. You always hear the stories about multiple different situations that involve law enforcement. This is a place where we tell the truth, the only truth, and nothing but the truth. Social media just doesn't cut it. In fact, it demonizes what keeps us alive and freed day by day. Tune into this podcast so you have the opportunity to learn what really happens, change your perspective, and alter your way of looking at reality. For this second podcast, the topic for this one is more about the tactical team experience that he has gone through over many, many years. So I know you're in the tactical team experience. Can you just tell us really what it is first about it?
Well, the tactical team, also commonly referred to as a SWAT team. SWAT is an acronym for Special Weapons and Tactics. The team that I was on for the longest length of time, our acronym was a SRT, so that was a Special Response Team. But either way, it's tactics. It's handling things in a different way, a little bit more training, probably some advanced weapons or other weapons that the typical patrol officer or deputy doesn't have. Sometimes that's the vehicles also involved. And I've been on a couple of different teams. Probably won't name those names necessarily right now, unless that's something that we get deeper into. But with the sheriff's office, one particular team I advanced through, if you want to call it that way, and was one of the team leaders responsible for, some of the training for the guys, appropriation of some of the advanced weapons, appropriations of the armored vehicle that we received from the government, and we put in a pretty extensive amount of training, and then of course through some of the missions that we had, I was involved in the mission planning, and we could go more into details, some of that kind of stuff if that's what you want to do. But over the years, I've been able to be involved in quite a few missions. Some of the training also included, for weapons of mass destruction, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear and explosive training. Luckily, we didn't have a whole lot of need for any of that yet. Hopefully, knock on some wood. But it's there. We've had that. And then through some of the tactical responses, we've been able to keep everybody safe. And also with the vehicles that we appropriated, we've been able to keep everybody safe.
So I know that's sort of a definite division compared to what your daily duties are. What really set that area apart from what your daily duties are to make you want to be involved into those extra activities?
Well, the more training, especially early in the career, everybody wants to do more training, more shooting. In cop world, more shooting, and different types of weapons, long range, submachine guns, different types of shotguns, of course, various pistols, and the thing is that everybody wants to, whether they want to admit it deep down inside, they want to feel not only the need or the excitement of helping, but when you're around a bunch of guys or girls, gals, and you have a combined goal, and you train for that goal, and then that time arises, it's pretty exciting. Everybody gears up, loads up in the van or in our armored vehicle. We set out for that mission, whether that's to take somebody to jail or go find some things that were on a search warrant that the judge signed, whatever that mission might happen to be. It's adrenaline rush, that's for sure. And I think that's what kind of continues to call some people to it. It's just doing the job and doing it more and more.
So I definitely do want to dive deeper into it. I'm not sure exactly just what areas, but so I definitely do want to kind of dive into more about it. Can you kind of give us some ins and outs about kind of what the mission briefing is about and kind of what you all did for it?
To start a mission, plan a mission, have a reason for the mission. Obviously, there would be some sort of a crime that we'd be investigating. Not necessarily the TAC team would be investigating, but there would be a case officer that's investigating a crime, whether that's planning a mission to go on a search warrant or planning a mission to go on an arrest warrant. We would evaluate the location. We would evaluate the type of persons that we potentially feel like we would encounter. We would gather intelligence on the locations through, most recently, even Google Earth gives us a lot of information now. But we've been in an airplane, doing orbits, taking pictures. We've had drone operators come and do some aerial surveillance for us. We put those things into the briefing packets. We talk about known hostilities, known weapons, what we might be facing whenever we go in. And then, of course, what's the objective, whether or not we're going for person or persons or things. But we typically always have people to deal with, whether going for things anyway. When I say things, those are illegal substances, typically stolen property, meth labs, marijuana labs, typically indoor grows. Now we've got some outdoor grows that we deal with or have dealt with. Stolen property, looking for things from cars to trucks to 18-wheelers, motorcycles, bicycles, you name it. It just all depends on what's listed in that search warrant. But once we gather all the detail and then we establish the date, the time, and the availability of the team members, then we'll meet for a mission planning, go over some floor plans, go over the intel that we've gathered, make our ops plan. Who's driving the truck? How are we getting there? Who's deploying where? Who's getting out of the truck first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth? Who has the scene security? Who are the team members that are actually going in? What's their roles and responsibilities once they enter into the residence or the commercial structure, or sometimes it's just an open field. And so all those things, we try to talk through it. We try to plan what each member is going to do, roles and responsibilities, action plan, and then depending on the time, the availability, we might even go to a warehouse that's available to us, and we will outline. If it's like a house, we've even been known to take masking tape and try to draw the house in masking tape on the floor and do a dry run footsteps and try to figure out exactly who's going where and what's what. But then we also, take medical considerations. We do have, or I keep saying we do. We did have a medic assigned to our team. And so, of course, he had all of our medical information, but then he had different responsibilities that were tactical related, but not focused on the mission, but focused on what happens if we start taking fire or if somebody gets hurt by any other means. So they had, protocols to where they would contact Metaflight and let them know this is where we're going to be, this is what we're going to do, and check availability for Metaflight helicopter available. If that wasn't available or wasn't practical for Metaflight, we were close operation to a hospital, then we would have an ambulance staged. But depending on the mission, depending on what we're doing, we left that particular mission planning component up to the tactical medic. And then we would execute. We would fulfill that mission, and then, of course, when everything's done, we have to debrief. We have to go back, process evidence, process people, and then process ourselves. What went right, what went wrong. Was everybody safe? Was anybody hurt? Did we find what we went to look for? And then, of course, make sure all of the paperwork is done properly. And, if it's a search warrant return has to go back to the judge to show what we did find, what we didn't find. If it was an arrest warrant, all that has to go back through to show that we did get the people we were going after.
Throughout your many years of experience there, did you kind of have your go-to position, your role that you kind of knew you'd do or everyone else knew you would do?
No, we kind of changed it up some. We would have various scenarios to where typically I was usually in what we would call the stack, which was the team members that were going in, whether it be a house or commercial structure. And I would typically be in that stack somewhere, not typically the door breacher, which would be the guy with a ram or a pry bar or something. He's the one that's responsible for getting the door open. That typically wasn't me. But sometimes we would change it up, and I might be on a perimeter guard, or I might be the case officer, so I'm in the rear, almost the last one to go in. So we changed it up enough to where everybody kind of did a little bit of everything. Sometimes I was even the van driver or our armored vehicle driver. So it just depends.
Did you have a favorite or least favorite role?
No, I don't think I have a favorite or a least favorite. Well, yeah, I didn't want to be the number 2 guy through the door. Statistically speaking, it's the second one in that usually got shot. But luckily, we never got anybody shot. So I guess if I was picking my position, I would choose not to be number 2. But then again, everybody's got to take their turn.
About how many different missions did you end up, you and your team, doing throughout your time?
Oh gosh, I don't know. You got to think that over the years, that's a real tough question. More than 100, less than 200. I know that's a big gap, but I'm 51 years old now, and it's hard to remember yesterday sometimes. So, just thinking back, I don't know that I ever tallied it up. So I unfortunately, I don't think I can give you an answer on that one. But I know the number of years that we were on the team, the two different teams. You know, when it's 2 and 3 a week, sometimes multiple weeks in a row, multiple months in a row, just adds up. So I really don't have a number for you.
I remember there was one time, can't remember what month, but it was in 2020 when the riots were going rampant, and you got called out one night. I think it was only one time. Do you kind of remember that? Was that part of SRT?
No, that didn't have anything to do with SRT. That was just an all sheriff's office response due to the civil unrest with things that were going on with BLM and all that. They were circling the jail and claiming that they were going to storm the jail, and of course we couldn't let that happen. So, a lot of us were just, there was a lot of us there, but it wasn't specifically just a tactical unit response.
All right, that's going to be it for this first segment of this podcast. Now we're going to be switching it to the Real World Talk segment. Here I have another guest joining me on this podcast along with my father. This is my brother, Cody.
What's up?
He's here to just give another extra opinion along with some others. All right, so let's start it. For this first topic I kind of wanted to bring up was the AWACS that got shot down last week at the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. It was actually an American base that got destroyed. I mean, I know in the last episode we were talking about the F-14s getting bombed, and now an AWACS, an E-3 Sentry. I mean, more planes are going to get blown up. What more is it going to take to keep going? Also just opinions on just the plane being bombed.
Well, I mean, it's war, right? Things are going to break. Things are going to get blown up. People are going to get shot down. People are going to die. But I don't know that I have a whole lot of opinion about, one way or another on the particular plane being shot down. But that is our command and control systems plane. That's the one that tracks planes in the air, friend or foe, and helps us decide whether or not we're going to go shoot one down or not. Now, that plane doesn't do any shooting down, but that plane with the radar on the top of it, I mean, that's one of our big assets. And to shoot that down, I mean, that's obviously an act of supreme aggression, and I wouldn't call it necessarily retaliate, but I would call it retribution. So we need to take our turn at shooting theirs and blowing it all up.
When the photos got released, it was on the ground. It was on the base when it got blown up.
Oh, so it didn't get shot down out of the sky?
No, it was on the base, but they even mentioned in the post how the tail sign had an OK on it, obviously from here in Oklahoma. So
yeah, big AWACS base here. So anywhere that those AWACS are deployed, I think most of them come from here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's just a couple questions to be asked there, to begin with, though. But did we see these missiles coming? Were there any type of defense mechanisms put in place to be able to stop this, or even see them coming to begin with? And exactly where did it come from? Obviously we know who shot it, but like where? But kind of like what Dad said, yeah, you hit us, we're going to hit you back. And especially with the American military and what we are, we're going to hit you back 10 times harder. And I just think it needs to happen before everything gets worse and worse.
I'm actually gonna throw in another topic that happened just 3 days ago, maybe 4. I can't remember exactly. The F-15 that got shot down from the sky from the, I can't remember exactly what hit it, but the pilots ejected. One of them was rescued within, I don't remember exactly how quick, but less than a day. But then the other pilot was able to not only eject, land, run away, and deploy his signals and get rescued within 48 hours in Iran, from like, helicopter rescue teams.
I didn't see that. So
Yeah.
there was 2 of them,
Yeah.
right? 2 planes, single seat planes.
Or
Yeah.
was it the dual-seater F-15?
I remember exactly. I think it was just dual.
Okay, so 2 pilots,
Yeah.
2 planes, 1 pilot for each of
Yeah.
them, but they both got found, rescued.
Yeah. Eventually. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then just kind of to bring up something else that I saw, there was a A-10 that got shot down also. And I don't know if it was in that rescue mission, or a separate one. They brought in a C-130, and he had to land on the desert. But something happened either like on the landing or before takeoff or something, and that C-130 wasn't able to take off again, and they had to leave that C-130 stranded there also.
I didn't know that. I also saw the footage of what appeared to be the A-10 being shot down, and I was reading the comments and stuff. People speculating that the wingspan was just too wide for the A-10, and they were thinking it was a drone. Do you see?
They thought the A-10 was a drone.
Yeah. Just from the thermal video that was playing,
Yeah.
it looked like the wingspan was just way too wide.
Yeah, I didn't see a video on it or anything, and I mean, I don't know. I don't have a super in-depth knowledge of all of that, but I just read about the A-10 being shot down, and I just think it's funny. Funny not.
I don't
funny.
trust none of it. I don't even know that there was an A-10 or a drone. In today's technology and with AI and everybody's, hocus pocus and let's draw your attention over here while something else is going on. I mean, I don't even know what was shut down, what wasn't shut down.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that kind of goes into the whole thing that I was saying. It's funny, but it's not funny how we see all of this happening, and I mean, we're obviously in a pretty big conflict, but yet we don't necessarily want to come out and say that, I mean, I think at this point, it's time. It's about go time to just say, we're in a full-on war. I know we haven't completely said that or anything, especially, from the government and everything like that, but at what point does it become, like, up there,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what all it's going to take. I know we already are setting stuff up to go back, obviously, so.
Well, I'd rather go back and do it over there. I mean, the stuff that we are seeing, I mean, we would rather fight over there to keep all that crap from coming here.
Yeah, and I think other countries are smart enough to not bring it over here. I mean, just as if they wanted to try and invade the country with ground soldiers and everything like that. There's too many people with their own guns. There's too many hunters out here that would be able to take down any type of assailants that try and come and take over this country with us.
Well, who was was it the Japanese general or somebody that said that you can't invade America because behind every blade of grass is a gun or something like that? I can't remember
something
exactly.
Exactly. That might be it, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about all of the people in America that have a gun, that are into hunting, that are just enthusiasts. Uh, think about all of the prior military that's just sitting around waiting.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's people out here that are just sitting around waiting, sitting around in a tree stand, killing stuff, animals for food, for sport, and can effectively do it from anywhere between 15 to 500 yards away with multiple different types of weapons. You know, bows, crossbows, shotguns, ARs, just like long range rifles. You know, and they would have to do something different, I think, if they even wanted to try.
So I showed y'all that clip of um, that swarm of people swarming that girl's car. I can't remember exactly where. Um, Lexington, Kentucky. And then she rammed right into him. I mean, with that circumstance, I'd have done the same.
I mean, it's a mob mentality at that point, and she's one person that is being circled by multiple people. And we've seen time and time again where individuals are pulled out of their cars and beaten. You could clearly see in the video to where damage is being done to her car. She's obviously in a position where she feels unsafe, right? So you've got to do something to get out of the way. You've got to do. She was doing something to get out of there, and if you're not smart enough to know not to stand in front of a moving vehicle, you get what you get. You know, I mean, I don't understand this mentality of I'm going to go stand in front of your car and dare you to run me over or be pissed off because you did run me over. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, clips are clips, right? You don't necessarily get the full scenario or know exactly what is going on in its entirety. But I mean, at the same time, like if there are people standing around your vehicle and I mean jumping on it, kicking it, causing damage and everything like that, it also looked like she gave them a couple warnings. You know, she kind of backed up, came forward a little bit, a few times, and I mean, I don't know if there was another way to get out of there. Like, I don't know if there was an exit or anything. In that clip, it did look like she hopped the curb. So saying that, you know, I'm sure there was an entrance or an exit somewhere. But again, it's a clip. You don't know if that is blocked off too. And I mean, yeah, if you are fearing for your life or if you feel like you're in danger, you have every right, I believe, to take whatever action you need to defend yourself and get out of that scenario.
I guess you could say it's kind of the same thing as not only, I mean, because she was obviously treating her car as a weapon there. You say it's the same thing as a normal weapon
Yeah, exactly.
in the same sense.
I mean, it's kind of always a wishy-washy thing. It's very scenario-based, you know, but if you're getting beat fist to fist or whatever and you feel like you are about to die and you pull out a knife, a gun, or something to defend yourself, you know, I mean, in most cases, you have every right to do that. And
Well, you said it right there. That you know, in a situation where you're not sitting in the car, you're using some weapon per se that's designed as a weapon, a knife, a gun, or something like that to defend yourself. She's sitting inside what can be construed as a weapon that she can manipulate, but she was doing it in a defensive way. You know, she was not. There's no way in that video clip that you could convince me to say that she feels safe in her environment.
no,
So
yeah.
she wasn't necessarily using that vehicle as an offensive weapon, but she was using it in a way to defend herself and then eventually flee.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess to answer your question, she was within her right. She did the right thing to get out of there, whatever that means.
Yeah, I agree.
To see she eventually, I mean, obviously, went to jail for it and stuff.
She went to jail?
For it, yeah.
What were the charges?
I don't remember exactly what.
Doesn't matter what the charges are. I mean,
Probably attempted.
what about charging all the other people for, forcing her to fear for her safety and her life and the damage and destruction to her car? It's ridiculous.
I was reading the post where I first saw it. The comments were saying, because it was like an event or something going on there. So there was obviously a lot of people, and there were cops, like
Yeah, I saw it
300 feet away.
Actually, after she drove away,
Yeah,
you could see a couple of...
Yeah, and she got stopped there, maybe 300 feet away. And the comments were just saying, well, why aren't they doing the job of, like, controlling the crowd? And
That's an easy thing to say as an armchair quarterback, never being in that position, never understanding that what is a handful of officers going to do to several hundred people, and it's just going to turn worse whenever they come over and try to intervene, and then you never know if it's going to be a racist card thrown out there, or you're just defending her, and we're the ones here protesting in the parking lot or whatever the heck was going on in that parking lot. But it wasn't peaceful. They were in the driveway. They were in the parking area where vehicles park and move, not where people were supposed to be gathering.
it's funny you mention cars moving. What about those Middle Eastern and kind of Mexican people coming over and somehow getting CDL licenses? And I'm sure you've seen the many of clips of them, one being stopped and obviously not knowing English, and then when they do get a translator, they can't read the road signs. But then also the clips of them falling asleep at the wheel, or just, I don't know what, but on interstates causing pile-up crashes, just for who knows what reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's definitely not something I really expected to see in this time that we're living in, I guess. But if you go to any other country, let's say, we go to a different country, China, we go to Japan or something, whatever, you're going to be expected to either have a translator, and just as a tourist, not even working there, you're going to have to either have a translator or know some degree of that language, because without knowing that language, I mean, how are you going to be able to do anything? And I would like to kind of know or find out how these people are getting all of these licenses, because like you said, I mean, there's some people that are getting pulled over and they can't speak a lick English, can hardly even understand English. And I mean, if that's the case, how are you even going to know what the road signs are even saying? And I think you're seeing that now, that they're not being able to see that, translate it, understand it, or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I just don't really understand how they're even allowed to be driving on the road.
Well, that's the thing is they're obtaining those driver's license under false pretense. They're not going somewhere and taking the test in English and passing the test and getting that driver's license lawfully. Mm-hmm. So there are entities out there somewhere that are granting these people licenses. And whether they obtain a license with false pretense or they're driving without one, I just can't imagine reasonable people going to another country and just assuming that we could hop in a vehicle and just start driving around, and then if we get involved in some sort of a collision or run over somebody or get stopped by their police that we would just assume, oh, it's okay.
Especially a 40, 50, 60,000 pound vehicle that, takes forever to stop. And I mean, one of the most dangerous vehicles on the road. And we're just handing them the keys.
Yeah, I don't get it. But they're getting them by false pretense, that's for sure. And you know what? If they get stopped, impound the damn truck, take them out of it, and they present that false document to the police officer too. So that's no different than an underage individual presenting that false document to a police officer at a club or a drinking establishment where they have to be 21 to be in there to drink. Lock them up. Throw away the key.
Yeah, then you got to even ask if they're even legally allowed to be here in this country. And if they're not, if they didn't do the right things, follow the right procedures or whatever to get here legally, I mean, I think they just need to go back to where they came from and try again.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with anybody coming here through the legal process. Just do it right.
The tweet that I initially wanted me to talk about this is from Nick Sorter last Wednesday, saying the state of Indiana will be canceling all commercial driver licenses for illegals at midnight tonight. And he was just saying every single state should follow their Indiana's lead.
Why did the illegal even have a driver's license to be suspended? So if they're cool, they're going to do that. But how do we even have a list of illegal persons that have a driver's license? I don't even understand. That just blows my mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I'm glad they're taking these actions to try and prevent it and stuff, but it shouldn't be really an issue to begin with.
Yeah. We'll switch to a little different one. So obviously the B-52 is the plane that was, I don't know exactly if it was engineered or developed or what the main difference is. But in the 1960s is when the first rendition of it was produced. And now I saw this tweet just a week ago, and how they're still using it today for I think it's a new missile they came out with. It's called the AGM-158. It's the hypersonic cruise missiles. How many years has that been since that it's been in service?
Roughly 80.
And now they still want to continue it until I think the 2050s or at least the 60s. So 100 years plus that it wants to continue its service. And now that they've also
they built things right back then. We don't build them that way now.
Yeah.
They've the B-1s, they've actually, when they built it for literally obviously a supersonic bomber, but then they stopped sending them on missions just because it was getting too close for comfort on the missions. And then also on the B-2s, it wasn't, the load capability wasn't quite enough of obviously what the 52 can carry. And I just think it's funny how the B-52 was obviously made first and it's still going.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why spend millions and billions of dollars trying to make new age modern bombers when these B-52s can obviously handle the job, handle the mission and stuff like that? And I mean, a bomber to begin with is exactly that. It's going to go drop the bombs. It's not going to be able to protect itself. So that's why it needs, the the fighter jets to escort it and stuff like that. So I mean, I think instead of just trying to make a all in one type of plane, they should. I mean, if they want to, focus more on the fighter jets, modernizing those, and giving those jets the capabilities to escort the bombers who do just that. Bomb.
I think we've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
Bombers and escorters.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I think now, aren't they? They're trying to make them like the I don't know, maybe even like the F-35. They can, aren't they strapping it with bombs now?
Yeah, but not the big ones. Right? I mean, you're talking big bombs.
This is for like cruising at like 40, I don't know how high, maybe 25,000 feet, dropping missiles that are going to travel,
Okay, yeah.
I can't remember, thousands of miles,
Yeah.
versus obviously the B-1, which was closer and faster. And just, this is a very, it's its own
Yeah,
area.
I think it's a testament to how well that plane was engineered and built and stuff, that we're still able to use it however long, 80 years of service that it's been able to fly and stuff. And I mean, it's a great plane.
Maybe I didn't do my math right on that. Maybe it's more like 60 years. Either way, it's a long damn time.
If it was in the
60,
60s.
yes, okay, yeah, 20. Well, it'll be 80.
It'll be 80 eventually.
Well, that's going to be it for this second podcast of the Thin Blue Line Briefing Room. Be sure to follow along for the continuing episodes of different topics and just the various other topics that we'll be talking about for the real world segments. That's going to be it for me for the Thin Blue Line Briefing Room, and we'll see you in the next ones.
See you later.
Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.